Hello fellow parents and minivan enthusiasts, I'm here with the 2024 Toyota Sienna hybrid all-wheel drive 7-seater, doing a solo review on the Yuri channel because last time we did a minivan review on the straight pipes, people unsubscribed, so Jacob said I gotta do the boring cars or the cars that I want to do on my channel, so thanks for coming here and watching this. We've never reviewed the Sienna before, which is the Toyota minivan. It's actually been a pretty pleasant month with it. I got it because my cousin was in town from Ukraine and she's got her 2 kids, so we needed to drive them all around and have room for everyone plus my kid, and that's all been working out really nicely. This one has the 2.5 liter 4-cylinder hybrid with an eCVT and 2 electric motors, giving us 245 horsepower. So if I floor it, like, it's okay. It's like slightly under dad fast, but it doesn't sound that good. But since this is a hybrid, we can put it in fully electric mode only by going really, really slow. We've got a EV mode button, but doesn't really put it in EV mode. EV mode unavailable, but that's fine. That's fine. What I really want to get into on this minivan is the conveniences, the fun things, the boring things, the little things that make your life better, all that good stuff. Not really going to talk about handling in this, except for like one time. So starting off, we've got sliding doors on each side. They are power. You can click the button to have it open. You can also kick your foot to have it open in front of the driver door. Then we can close it with buttons up here or buttons on the inside of the pillar, or by closing in the door handle a little bit. And what's nice is that while the sliding door is closing, I can touch the front door handle, which will lock the car. It'll give me an audible tone, and then when the door closes, it'll fold in the mirrors and fully lock the car, which is something that like my Mazda CX-5 can't do. Anytime I try to lock it ahead of time, it'll beep. It'll be like beep, 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 not yet, and I have to wait to click it. And then compared to the CX-5 as well, my wife absolutely loves sliding doors. So much easier for getting the kid in and out, especially in parking lots and stuff. And speaking of the mirrors folding in, one of the deal breakers of the Honda Odyssey, the mirrors don't fold in any trim that I could find when you lock it, and there's no 360 cameras. This, attached to the mirrors that do fold in, has 360 cameras. Now, the 360 camera is low quality. We'll talk about it more later, but it is good enough. So that's awesome for the Sienna. So once we open the doors, you'll see that this is a 7-seater configuration. You can also get them in 8-seater configuration. And in here right now, I've got my Britax Poplar seat, which is rear facing in one of the capstan chairs. Now the problem with that is those things will go up to 49 inches, so you can keep your kid rear facing longer, which is a good thing because, you know, kids' bones and stuff isn't fully developed. So if they're front facing too early and get in an accident, they could really damage themselves a lot more than in a rear facing seat. With this rear facing seat, her foot touches the SRS airbag thing on the B pillar. So what I need to do is move the seat so much more forward so she's safely there, where if it was a Honda Odyssey, I could slide it to the middle, which is a nicer feature about the Odyssey. But this does work. But then sitting in front of that, because you need to have a gap, the seat can't be right against it for safety reasons, it's like not really good in the passenger seat. Like if you have a taller spouse or a taller person who needs to sit there, it's not good for that. And then I guess you could be like, oh, why don't you put the kid in the 3rd row? I feel like the middle row is safer for an accident, so like, why would you put your kid in the very back if you don't need to, especially if the middle row is empty? That's one of the weird things I've found about this setup with a rear-facing seat. But with a front-facing seat, it's probably pretty easy. So with the rear-facing seat moved up enough so that the foot isn't touching the SRS airbag pillar, there is no room to slide it forward to get a kid in the back. Попробуй стати дозад. Which means this kid is gonna have to go on through the roadside to get to the back. And if I put it on this side, then I wouldn't have enough room to drive. So what's cool about the middle captain's chairs is how far they could slide forward and back, like an incredible amount, which is really cool. And then you can also really recline them So I guess if you have two adults back there, they could just pretty much sleep on a full road trip very comfortably. And with kids back there, we got baby shades in the middle row and baby shades in the very back. Now, if we move to the very back, it feels very cramped, especially compared to the Odyssey or the Pacifica. Like, it just feels tight. Like, I fit fine at 5'8", I could deal with it, but I feel it's just not as comfy and airy as some of the other minivans out there. But say your kid's front facing, say they're in the Britax harness to booster or the Britax High Point belt assisted booster. We can then watch this TV here. We have power and HDMI. It doesn't look like there's a Blu-ray player anywhere unless I'm missing it. So that's kind of wacky. And if people are watching the screen back there, we got two sets of wireless headphones that are in these seats right now. And then we have two headphone jacks with volume control at the very back. So you could have everybody watching, which is really nice because you don't want anyone left out. I can imagine if only two kids could see the TV and one kid couldn't, there would be crying. That's why the TV has not made an appearance, because my kid is rear facing, and if the other two kids watched TV and she didn't, she would cry. I never hear the end of it. And if that screen is down, we can also use our camera built into our rear view mirror to see what's going on behind us, which is a nice feature that the Honda Odyssey didn't have. But the Odyssey had a camera that lets you see what's going on back there. This does not, which sucks. It's got this little pop-out mirror, but that's kind of useless, especially for rear facing as well. The Pacifica also has an interior camera, which is nice. And this doesn't have cabin talk either, which honestly is kind of a dumb feature. Like, I would never use it, but it just doesn't have this kind of stuff. But this is an old minivan. It's been out for a while. If you look at the interior at the front, it's got the old infotainment still, which is actually kind of a good thing. But more with the seats. This captain chairs behind me can slide back so far that you can actually put a lot of your junk just in the back seat instead of having to put it in the trunk. The rear seats do fold down, which gives you a ton of space, but even when they're up, there's a ton of space behind them as well. And then these middle seats don't come out or anything, but that's fine. I don't expect them to. I don't want like full stow and go like some Pacificas have. I like this. There's enough room back there behind it. I'm not using this as like a full-on junk collector. I'm kind of using this as, you know, shuttling my kid around safely, shuttling more kids around safely. And then also if I need to do some garden work, like, look how beautiful the color of that car is in my lawn. I put my Ryobi tiller back there and the power washer and a whole bunch of stuff. You can use it almost as a pickup truck, but not like full crazy cargo van. Now, one of the problems with folding the back seats all the way down, they don't lock in when they're fully down. So if you don't have anything sitting on top of it, you hit a bump and the seats are just like bump, boom, bump, boom, flying around, which is like kind of annoying. But I guess you can just, if you don't have anything on it, you might as well just keep them up. And then off to our trunk, we have a close button. And if we click the electronically assisted close button twice, it'll lock the car when you walk away, which is really nice. Not as nice, I think, as the newer Hondas where they have the lock button that you click and it'll just lock itself after you walk away. This, you still need to like get out in time, but it is nice to have both those features tied to one button. So before we get into the interior up at the front, I need to talk about the exterior, because this actually does look pretty cool. It's got the Toyota Supra body lines, or as I like to say, the Supra has the Sienna body lines. So that looks nice. It is in the coolest color. I like to call it brown. But if you look up really closely to the paint, you'll see that there's so much metallic. Sometimes it's orange. It is one of my favorite paint colors, maybe because I'm getting old. I'm like almost 40 years old, but I cannot stop looking at this paint color. I love it, absolutely love it. It's called Sunset Bronze Mica, which, you know, makes perfect sense. It's one of those weird ones I just can't, I don't know why I like brown so much. And then, all right, headlights, taillights, cool DRLs. It's very nice, subtle, whatever. We got the blue badge up front, blue badge in the back. We've got a bunch of chrome on here, and this is kind of old man spec, but I'm kind of old man, so I'm digging it. We don't have like a full chrome grille, but it is a big fat grille, which I like. And it's funny, the Sienna accessible vans, when those get modified, you know, they get like raised up, bigger grille. Those look like one of my Photoshops. So, you know, my Photoshops are not completely unrealistic. And then the silliest part is that we have chrome-ish wheels, but I think they're hubcaps. Like, you can move stuff around there. It's not like a full alloy, but I haven't like taken the wheel off to see. but like, I guess I'm kind of okay with it because it's got a nice big fat sidewall. We're on Bridgestones right now. Would rather be on a set of Viking Contact 7s for the winter because I did get this at the tail end of winter, even though it's beautiful spring now and I'm out cutting my grass and all that stuff. You'll see if you subscribe to this channel, there's a lot of grass cutting and lawn mowing and gardening tips because I do a lot of gardening. So shout out my channel if you're subscribed. So do I like the looks of this more than the Odyssey or the Pacifica? I think in this color, yes. But I do really like the new Odyssey a lot. Pacifica is kind of like old, not like that exciting anymore, but it still looks good. I think they all look all right. The new Carnival looks good too, but I don't think I like the Carnival infotainment. So in this color, I think this is my favorite minivan because it's such a weird old man spec with such amazing paint, flake, and color. Here, look at this close up with my Sandmark lenses, the microscope lens. Like, it's insane all the color that's in there. Okay, now moving into the front. First things first, the seat, very comfortable. We got 2 armrests built into this center console. It's really comfy to have both elbows on the armrests while driving. And then unlike a lot of other Toyotas, we have up, down, forward, and back lumbar, which is very key because if you're driving a minivan, you're probably an old man with a bad back like I am, and it's nice. The next thing that this Toyota has that a lot of other Toyotas do not have, visor. 3, 2, 1, full extension. It says slide. How many Toyotas are out there with just a flap? And the minivan has it? Okay, and then this also has a sunroof. Nice little one, doesn't need to be too big, that's good. The visibility is great. We got the little windows next to the mirror so we could see more. And then if you have your camera set to the auto position, you know, when you come to a stop sign or a light or whatever, it'll automatically show up so you can see if anyone runs in front of you. The infotainment, it is the old style, which is good, We have a volume knob, tuning knob. We have hard buttons on the side. We've got wired or wireless Apple CarPlay. I obviously love my wired CarPlay. And you can easily rewind. You can even talk to this with a high Toyota to get it to use a SiriusXM channel, which is something new BMWs can't even do. Check this out. Play SiriusXM channel 10.
Channel 10.
And it does it. And if I want to tune through other channels, I could do it with a tuning knob. I don't have to go through menus. It's pretty perfect. There is no hard button I found to go right to your CarPlay, but if you click home and click on the screen, it's right there. Or you click phone, but then you're in another thing. Then below that, we have our climate control, all hard buttons, heated seats, ventilated seats. Our heated steering wheel is on the left here. And with that, you have rear climate as well. I was actually recently in the back row of a pickup truck that did not have rear climate, and I was dying. And I tried to roll down the window to get some air, and Jacob was like, "You're bothering me with the buffeting." And I'm like, "It's too hot." And he's like, "What do you want me to do?" And we just got in a fight. So I guess rear climate is very important, and you should probably make sure you have it. Then this has a JBL sound system, which does work very nicely. No complaints, perfect for a family car. And then our camera view button here on the bottom left with these buttons. So, okay, onto the camera. It's low res, super low res, super bad, super old Toyota tech, but even their newer cameras aren't even that good. Compared to like a BMW, this feels like this 360 camera is from like 1990, but it's good enough. It's got pedestrian assist, rear cross traffic alert. Then you can like choose a wheel, even though it's like almost impossible to see what's going on, but it's better than nothing. So I appreciate that. Considering the Odyssey could not have that, you know, no 360 camera in the Odyssey, this is fine. Now, one of my favorite features, we got the regular shifter here. Regular shifter is always good. We have our drive modes, Eco, Sport, Normal. I don't even touch them, just keep it in whatever. We have 1 cup holder, 2 cup holder, 3 cup holder, 4 cup holder up front. And then we got a slot for your phone here. I think that's a slot for your phone. A slot for your phone right here. And then a wireless charger. And then all the cup holders you can put your phone in. There are so many options for cups and cup holders. This is probably the best laid out cup holder / phone holding area of any car of all time. Then if we pop open our little armrest here, we got a very deep section and then a section below our cup holder area to hold other bags and stuff too. It also has a very nice subtle car lock sound, not a loud horn. I'm going to rate this front storage area a 10 out of 10 for design and usability. No weird gimmicks, no sliding stuff. It just works perfectly. I'm shocked at how well they nailed this. I'm kind of sad we didn't drive it sooner. All right, now on to driving it. Do I look like I haven't been comfortable the whole time? Suspension is great, very comfy, nothing to complain about. Then speed. We should probably do a launch control. Sport mode, sport shifting, traction all the way off, brake boost. Not the worst, actually pretty okay. And then pinged off the limiter, off the CVT limiter. It's okay speed, it's okay speed. Now let's go back to drive, put it in normal, and just floor it like a normal person would, because who's putting this in traction off and doing launches? It's pretty good pickup. It's nice and it's fast enough, just under dad fast. But the thing that kind of sucks about it is that the CVT sound is so like obnoxious and not good. But because of that, you drive slower, which is nice. In the Honda Odyssey that I was driving, that thing was VTEC. I was spending so much more on gas, just always cracking VTEC every chance I got. This, I drive slower, which is better. And I think if you have a minivan, you probably have a sports car as well to go with it. I assume you would. So that way, this would be a perfectly fine option, and then you rip it in your other car. So with this being a hybrid, one of the things a lot of new hybrids do is hum like crazy when they're electric only mode. The new CRV, it hums so loud that it literally scares me. When Uber pulls up in a CRV hybrid, I'm like, ah! I would never want to drive one of those, own one of those, annoy people with that hum. This, very quiet hum. The sound is perfect for a hybrid car so that the whole world doesn't sound like a ghost traffic jam or whatever. So then fuel economy, I guess that's the most important thing if you want one of these, because you want to save money on gas, which I feel like I have been doing. This has a 65 liter tank, so you know, it holds a lot of gas. This one is 42 miles per gallon combined, or 6.7 liters per 100 kilometers combined. And if I look at my gauge cluster, which is nicely laid out, 2 analog tacks, digital in the middle, and you can see your speedo in the middle, or you can go through your other stuff, which is perfect layout. I am getting 8.3 liters per 100 kilometers total over the last, I can't tell, but many kilometers, over a tank full. And converted, that is 28.3 miles per gallon. But to be fair, I did take a trip out, a couple hours one way, and I was going pretty hard. So that might have very heavily decreased the liters per 100 kilometers or miles per gallon that I was getting. And then with this being hybrid, there's really not much regen or anything when you let off. It's just normal. And the brake pedal doesn't feel weird at all. That's a total red flag for a lot of cars for me. If the hybrid vehicle has a weird feeling brake pedal, I never want to drive it, because I'm driving for like, I don't know, 25 years or something. I should do the math, probably 20 years. And I know how to hit a brake pedal. And when hitting a brake pedal and coming to a stop feels weird, that's the car's fault, not mine. And then almost lastly, this does have Toyota Safety Sense 2.0. The new ones all have Safety Sense 3.0, but this does have a little bit of that weird on-center feel where if you're looking at a bird too long on the highway, it drifts a little left and right. It's not like as bad as the M240i, but it's not as good as the Honda steering for just like, you know, driving perfectly straight at all times. But the steering wheel, very comfy steering wheel, very luxurious. The interior materials look nice, feel nice. The stripe thing is cool. I like the light colored seats and everything. Like I overall really like everything about this old man spec. And then you can also get the Toyota app with this. So you can, I guess, remote start your car. I couldn't get it to remote start from the key fob just by clicking it 3 times, but I'm sure through the app and all that stuff and paying for subscriptions, you can do it, but I did not set that up. And lastly, before the price, handling in a way that minivan drivers will know or understand or relate to. Rip and on-ramps. On-ramps, off on-ramps. I am pretty quick in this on on-ramps. It feels good. I think I'd be fine if it was just front-wheel drive. Overall, feels good. Nothing really bad or sketchy about it. You'll definitely get to soccer practice on time. So with all that out of the way, the price. This is $63,150 Canadian, which is kind of a lot for a minivan. It does start a lot lower, but I'm pretty sure there's a huge waiting list for these two. So you probably won't even be able to get one anyways, and I feel like they should be refreshing this soon anyways, because I think this is like the last Toyota with the old infotainment in it. So I'm sure things will change, but I do really like it. If you can find one, I would highly recommend. The rear seats may not be perfect if you have multiple small children. Like, how would you sneak to the back if you had 2 rear-facing seats there? I'm not really sure, but if it was a Honda Odyssey, I would just slide the seat in and get right to the back. So there's a little things like that, but overall, it's very nice. I enjoyed my time with it. Thanks for the press car, Toyota, and I hope you guys liked the review on the Yuri Tereshyn channel. Which boring cars should I review next? Probably the Nissan Kicks, stuff like that. Maybe do an Odyssey review, the updated one. Thanks for watching, guys.